Hello everyone, welcome back to another video from Winter Forest. And today I'm going to do some real coding test. This will include 4 different questions. Each question includes some sub-question. And this 4 test is a real company called SideMind sent it to me because a few months back I have applied the job. I always don't mind to do some coding test, especially some coding test. The sample and data format is very good. Also could use as my video channel to help some other person on the marketing looking for a job. And now just let's start it. And this one will be this is the first task. Let's look up. I already forgot what is the task description. So for me, I normally, instead of reading the task description, I just reading the coding test. I do really like this coding test because from here, you basically do TDD. So you are looking what they write the expectation. TDD is you write your code going to behavior, then write your code. So what are we going to do in here? We look in here. They have write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's a 6 test. Basically, so we're going to build a small load server, have a two load. It is one load is get and post for the projects, and they have 2 kind of validation. One is called a stream validation, send the long object to you. So it actually expect the object, it send you a stream. In which one? Right, return 400 is not valid. So return one is exist, one is not valid. 2 kind of validation. One is 404 for the root and 404 for some node doesn't exist. Also have one is get new valid data, pass the validation, update in your database, send back with the new updated data. So if you generally looking in here, we actually only need to create one node for this service for the projects. If can't find, we return 404. And for the projects, we have 2 kind of servers. One is the post. Another method is the get. The get is simple. If you just go to here, just return the data already in your database, or in here it is in the file where cached in your memory. In here, the post, you do 2 kind of validation. One validation for existing, one validation for type issue. So since we know what we're going to do, just let's start it. The file is in here, so it is the index file. Before I started, let's just look at the structure in here. So they have the test file. All of your file just in here. One source file is for us going to fill it. And they have the data store. This is what they said. This will be running in the memory. So if it existing, then you return byte request. Or non-type of data also is byte request. Second thing, it is in here, the input in here. So from my I'm going to use instead install library. So since this is running in a road, you actually could install library. You see, before they run test, they pre-install your library. So if you like, you install Express or Happy, then you welcome to do it. But since this is very tiny task, I don't think we need to do anything with the library. So for me, I just use the HTTP node provide. So I just requiring this HTTP server. It is not already provided. Since he tested in HTTP localhost, so you don't use HTTPS. If they test in HTTPS, so you just install include HTTP. They are basically the same, just the port lesson and port different. So we just create a server. Now we just run our server. So now we just create use download built-in, just create this one. For this one, I'm going to define another one because I'm going to insert. And we are going to, when you post, going to update this list in memory, then you retrieve. So if I return this again, it will be have less one item. And now just easy, you just server.on. We just listen to the request. This kind of code you could copy from the load documentation. In here, we just respond next. And our request, get our request URL and the method. Now simple have a switch statement. See the URL first. Case. If in projects you're going to have two routes, one is the get, one is the post. Now we only need to handle one node. And another thing is for this one, they actually expect you in here in the test. Normally I just open the test and with this one just write our code. So if nothing found, then just respond with 4. So that is the easy one. So respond dot write 4 and then respond dot end found. Yeah, they don't care about the heading. For here, they only care about the status. So just return 4 and the end not found. This add message is found, even emptied accepted. Yeah, even emptied accepted. So it doesn't matter. I normally write like this one since this URL is not found. I'm going to make sure I don't have a typing error. So we only need to implement the projects. Now we change, see inside this one you have a see the method. Get do this. Else if method is post. We only implement the 2, so we only do 2 things over there. If get is simple, look at what they expect. 200. So it is 2 or 1. If it is get, return 2 or 1. So the get is the simplest one. So respond dot write hit 2 or 1 and he test. Let me see 2 or 1. And he also tests the context head master context application. Copy this one. So we also need to set the response. This can be together, they're all in the head. So we just set this status. So this all from the head, and then you end. What is finish? Sorry, this is not the commas. Then respond dot end. Here you return back. Suppose just use JSON string file. This group available for you. Instead of return that one, I'm going to return the copy one. And this will finish 3 tests. So this will be done. The get will be done. 201. Where the 201? 201 will be done. No. 200 will be done. And the top and the bottom will be done. 3 tests is finished. Now we do another 3 tests. We have to do 2 validation. And inside here we're going to if post we're going to the request we are listen to the data. So we have the make sure we don't have the error. If error he didn't test the error, we just do nothing. And here I'm going to process this chunk of data and define one. If this is valid, it's going to be valid project. I'm going to push into the projects list. And if it is not valid, we just return bad request. So in here, we are first process this chunk of data. That's simple. So this actually is a buffer. This buffer we are pushing into our body, and I do everything, manipulate, validation, everything just in here. Since we have the data, we just do body. From where? From our body. I'm going to change it to stream. Once I go into 2 kind of validation. First, I check if this is an object. If object, suppose include like this one, is valid data. I'm going to do. Since this becomes stream body dot index, I'm going to see if I could find this thing. This is a shortcut you suppose don't do because I'm looking for the test cases. He just send a string differently, won't be object. So I'm looking something, making sure they pass this object. If it is not an object, then I say this is invalid. And then I'm going to pass the projects because if it's invalid, I cannot pass. So if this is invalid, we just give the body. I cannot pass. If it is not invalid, I think I didn't know because invalid. Yeah, it is invalid too. Then I just return this string. Still, it is project equal this dummy string. And otherwise, I pass it because I pass this to an object. And then I can push the in and this basically do 2 type of validation. Now I'm going to validate. Now I'm going to see if it is valid. It's valid for us to process into. This is invalid means I'm going to return error back. invalid. First check is invalid. Invalid 2. This it is string that definitely just invalid equal to true. Otherwise, you see the object they passed to me already in my database. This is a piece of JavaScript. This will return a Boolean value. What happened in here? Jump. So leave as a bit of space. The reason I'm going to do, I'm making sure this one can run, because otherwise these projects, it is a string. So first make sure this is object. If it is object, and then see if I have a duplicate or not. Now we know is invalid. It's invalid to true. It is we are past this two. You see, for bad request. This bad request and this bad request is what we're going to write it. Just copy paste. And instead of say this 404 container type 400. Sorry, not the 404, 400. And then the ending they expect to have a message. This no. They expect this is a message, and what do they expect? Bad request. You see, he look in the body message have this value bad request. So this will pass these two bad request one. Now just left two. One is insert succeed, another one is insert, then you direct together the new one. And just else is valid, so we're going to insert it. Now we're going to update this one. Now we just write it back. If insert succeed 201, contact tab they expect is application.json. Then JSON string file, and this instead return this one they expect array. Do I have a break? Yes. Now we could run the test, suppose pass all of the test. Failed one. Expect 400 to dip to 201. How can be fail? Okay. This one fail. Equal to 200. Oh, sorry. Haven't. Instead of 200. Yeah. So expect 200. So this is supposed to pass? No. Let's run it again. Now pass still have one fail. Let's see. Now since we have two fail, now I just let's start debug it. So I put if you search for this one, I put only in here should update and send the update data after valid post project request. So for example, I actually expect 5 items, but I only have 4 items. I know this is valid, so the result say it only return 4, so we need to see what happened. And I put a console log in here, so before I'm going to push into the buffer. Second thing, we're going to have a console log after in the buffer. We're going to console log this one, see if they is correct. So if I run the test, so before, okay, it say is invalid true, actually expect false. So if I see what I log, the first buffer, it has the buffer, the second buffer don't have the buffer. And why? Because actually I have used the non, not the from. The actually called the concat. So instead I just from this one, from, because the from body, it actually you change one string to a buffer. Here actually is a buffer. I just concatenated this buffer to a string. So now just let's run the test. Okay. It pass because now it tell me this invalid is false. Previous, so it end up I don't have the body, so it go into the true. That is why it fail. Now we are safely could remove this one. Also don't need this console. And now we go back. We have two fail, but another fail is related to this update. So this only it is when you inside this test, if you put only, it only run the test you expected. I just trying to don't be distracted by two fail, so fix one by one. Now I remove the only, it will run all of the test. It all pass. And I'm going to push, I actually have a pushed in here if I go into GitHub. I didn't save my one, so if I go here, we have found my repository. And this result, if you go here, HTTP server, so it actually in here, if you go, this is the original one, you could use this one, play around. And the finished one, it is in here. So you could go here, all of the code, it is in the index. So you actually just write one on request, then it will achieve all of them. Basically, you have one load. If the load didn't find it, you to return 404. And if it is going to here, you have you listen to two methods. One is the get, another one is the post. And this code is dummy. This dummy, and since it actually get from the load HTTP server, if we just search, you could find in the documentation here an HTTP server. You could go here, just get whatever you wanted, HTTP server. So in here you have the create called create server in here. So you have all of the explanation. If you have data, actually get from here. If you have data, after you finish, just do whatever you wanted. So it actually in here you also, the idea just get from here. You could post Code also you could do something, and they have 3 question to go, and are going to upload one by one. And thank you for watching. This just click like and continue next task. Thank you. Bye bye.